Hi guys! So today's video is going to be a little bit different than my normal science lecture style videos because I know I have a lot of new viewers here, and first of all, thank you guys so much for watching my GEO GIRL channel. It means the world to me. My whole passion well, one of my largest passions is science communication and sharing science that I have the privilege to learn. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I wanted to make this video because I want to kind of talk a little bit about the future of my channel, or where I see the topics I plan to cover going, and I kind of want to get y'all's input, but I also want to kind of first off update my old channel introduction, because I know a lot of my new viewers are going over there. I see your comments, thank you. But there's a lot of outdated information in that video that I want to correct here, or just bring up to date. I also want to kind of address some comments that I get often, just, you know, a lot of FAQs, and just answer those here about me, my inspiration behind the channel, what I plan for the channel, and what's possible within the realm of right now and what I can do. But we'll get into that. Let me back up a second and start by saying kind of who I am and why I started the channel. So my name is Rachel, and if you're ever wondering what kind of credentials this girl over here telling me science stuff has, I have my bachelor's degree. I majored in geology and minored in chemistry, so I have a little geochem background, and I also did geochemistry research as an undergrad. But now I have been a PhD student for the past 3 years. I skipped my master's. I'm going straight to my PhD because the thing I want to do, which is research and eventually become a professor, requires me to have my PhD. And I am now starting my 4th year, which is crazy to say out loud. And I'm really excited, and I hope to graduate in the next few semesters, or maybe several semesters, and be a doctor, and then, you know, do research and hopefully eventually become a professor at a university. But enough about me. Why I started the GEO GIRL channel was a lot of things. It was kind of the perfect storm of, I was a TA during a pandemic, and first of all, guys, if you don't know, TA stands for teaching assistant. It's how graduate students get enough money to pay tuition. And I was teaching labs, I was teaching classes, and we went online, and a lot of the things had to become recorded and posted on Blackboard, and all of these things that I didn't even know really how to do. Honestly, the first couple videos I made, I posted on YouTube because I couldn't figure out how to get them on Blackboard. But then I was like, you know, oh well, I'll, you know, put them on YouTube for the public to see, because the public should get this information for free too. I don't feel that we should charge so much for this information anyway. So I felt like, you know, that was a good alternative, just to post these things on YouTube, send the links to my students, didn't have to deal with Blackboard, and that was just, you know, an easy way out for me. But then, you know, I got comments on YouTube saying, oh, thanks, this is really helpful, from anybody but my students. And so me, being a person who likes to help people, was like, sure, yeah, I'll just keep talking about this stuff, and I'll send the links to my students. And eventually I ran out of the topics that overlapped with the class I was teaching, and I just started talking about a whole bunch of other things, because as it turned out, I also had to study for what's called my first comprehensive exam as a PhD student. Now, this gets a little bit into the weeds of being a grad student, but every university is different. But for my program specifically, to get your PhD, you have to pass your first comprehensive exam, which is your committee of professors. You have like 5 professors on your committee from your department and others, and they get together with you and they ask you tons of questions. It's like an oral exam. It's terrifying. But the questions they ask are very broad in the first exam, like anything that has to do with geology, chemistry, biology, science in general. It's really terrifying. And so I was studying for that. I wanted to basically learn everything that I could before that exam. And so by making myself learn things well enough to teach them on YouTube, that was helping me study. And just to finish out the saga of what you need to do your PhD, you do that exam, Then you do your second one, which is defending your proposal, your research proposal. So that's way more specific about your research rather than broad. And then you do your dissertation defense. So there's like these 3 steps. But anyway, that first step was right around the time I started my channel. And so it was kind of a perfect storm of I'm TAing, I need to record lectures, I'm learning all these things to study for my exam. And hey, look, these people on YouTube are finding this helpful. Let's keep doing this. So that's what I did, long story short. And now I'm still going. And with that said, I still TA every once in a while and substitute for lecture classes every once in a while at my university. And many or most of my videos are just lectures that I've made for my real life students that I then post on YouTube. And that is the reason, for those of you who are new, who have commented on my channel, these are very, lecture-like. That is the reason that my videos are lecture-like. They are lectures. So I'm sorry if they seem very, I don't know, lecture-like. I know lectures have this like negative connotation of being boring, but I mean, I think lectures can be interesting. But that is one of the reasons they're relatively lecture-like. The other reason is obviously like they're PowerPoints. That's the easiest format for me right now. Obviously, in the future, I'd love to have my channel be more high production, more PBS Eons, SciShow, crash course type of videos, obviously without sacrificing detail. One of the things I really love about doing these videos is that I do go into more detail and more depth than many of those videos do, because a lot of people don't want the detail. They just want the general big picture, and I get that, and that's why they have those channels. But I really like that on my channel I do go in depth, and that's one of the other reasons I like that they're more lecture style, so people don't think that they're gonna get a non-in-depth video and don't get like clickbaited because they're like, oh yeah, this is a full-on lecture, because it is. I don't want to, create the facade that I'm not going to talk about, the nitty-gritty details, because I am, for the most part. So that's one of the reasons I like to keep them relatively lecture style. The other reason I can't be more like those big channels is because if you've ever noticed at the end of their videos, they have that long list of people to thank that are like writers, graphic designers, and researchers. Well, I am just me. So I just want to put the disclaimer out there for those of you who are new that I am just me. And, I'm going to try my hardest to take your suggestions about, making my videos a bit higher production quality. I actually just got a new microphone. I'm using it now. I'm recording on my phone for backup because I don't know how it'll sound. I've done so many mic tests, but I can't tell if it's better or not from my other mic. I don't know. I'm trying, guys. I'm not a techie person. I'm an academic, which probably means I should be techie, but I'm not. So in any case, my point is I'm just me. I'm just one human, and I'm trying my best to make my videos, more video-like than lecture-like, but it's probably going to be a long journey, and maybe in the future I will have the finances, the time, and the team to make that happen, but at the moment, I don't really have any of those things. But hopefully in the future, I can really put in what I should to these videos, because I really do want to do that eventually. This is such a big passion of mine. It's just not quite at the point where I have the time and financial resources to do so, but just know that I'm taking your suggestions and I'm trying my best to implement them now, but it may take a little time. So if you comment something and I say, yes, I'm doing that, that means that I'm working on the implementation process, but it might not show up right away. And, I really do value your opinion and your, constructive criticism, though. It's really, it's what's made my channel better so far. As if you go back and look at my first video, like, you'll see that I have improved. It's just slow going sometimes. But yeah, I really do appreciate the input, and I'm rambling now, so I'm just going to move on. Another thing I want to address is not just that I am only one human, but also that I am a human. What does that mean? Well, I mean that, yes, I talk about a lot of complex topics on my channel. I also go very far in depth to the point that I can, that I'm comfortable with, and that I'm qualified to. But I do get things wrong sometimes, and I'm not perfect, obviously. And I'm not qualified to talk about everything. I don't understand everything. So just putting this in perspective, I have the resources I'm looking down because I'm looking at all my stack of textbooks that I am able to have. And I realize I'm very privileged to be able to have access to all of that knowledge, to have access to scientific papers that many people don't have access to. I have access to a lot of information that people don't. That's why I post videos. I try to convey that information that I have the privilege to access to people that don't have the privilege to access the information. But I do get things wrong. And there are certain topics that sometimes you guys ask me to cover that I just either don't understand myself or I don't have access to information that discusses that topic. And so, no, none of this is in my brain. All of this is regurgitated stuff from textbooks. I mean, obviously, I've retained some of it after doing this for a few years, but I rely on other information sources and I only convey it through my YouTube channel because I know that not everybody has access to those. And so that is my goal of communicating that to the public or to who doesn't have access to it. But yeah, my point here is if you have ever wanted me to cover something and I say, sure, yeah, I'll cover that, and then it never happens, or it takes a long time to happen, that's because I either am trying to get access to information about that thing and I'm having trouble, or it's taking a while, or it means that I read about it, I tried to understand it well enough to teach it, and I couldn't. That's happened before. If you guys have watched my Miller indices video, you can tell in that one that I'm not qualified to talk about everything. So like I'm really sorry if I can't talk about the topic you want me to. I know a lot of people on my channel follow me for my thin section stuff, my optical mineralogy stuff. I've covered optical mineralogy to the point that I probably am qualified to, and if I go any deeper, I will confuse myself. So I feel like I just need to put that out there and be like, yeah, I'm trying to like deepen my ability, and that will come with time. But just be patient with me. I'm trying to cover everything you guys want. It's just that I'm not. I'm human. That's my point here. And I do get things wrong. And like, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everybody, anybody who has commented and like pointed out something, respectfully pointed out something that I've gotten wrong, because it does help, because then at least I can like correct it somewhat. Obviously, once you post a video on YouTube, it's up there. You can't really edit it, but I can post a comment and pin it at the top and say, hey guys, just so you know, this is the way it is. Because I don't ever want to be spreading misinformation, but you know, I do make mistakes. That's the point on that, mark. I'm gonna have to put chapters in this video because I'm rambling a lot. This is way more than like future GEO GIRL video. And you know what's really funny about this video is I have little like bullet points that I'm looking at. That's why I keep looking up here. I'm sorry, by the way, if that's really distracting for you, but I'm looking up here because I have like bullet points on my computer that my phone is resting on that say what I want to talk about. And first of all, I've gone out of order. And second of all, they each have like a 1 minute, 2 minute, like time next to them that I should talk. And I like greatly surpassed that. Anyway, I've talked about who I am, why I started my channel, that I am only one human, I can only do so much so fast, that my videos are lecture-like because they're lectures, and that I am a human and I make mistakes, and I'm also not qualified to talk about everything. So now, just really quick, I want to update some outdated information in my old channel introduction video. If you've watched that video, you've seen that there's like an Instagram handle, a Twitter handle, a LinkedIn handle surrounding me in that video, and that, was very early on in my journey when I thought I was actually gonna like engage on those things, but I haven't. I never get on Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Guys, as a PhD student, you don't have a lot of time for social media, and any time I do have, I spend on YouTube. So if you've reached out to me on Instagram, the reason I'm mentioning this is because if you've reached out to me on any of those platforms and I haven't responded, I'm very sorry. I really don't have any more capacity at the moment to get on those other things. I, in fact, deleted Instagram from my phone. I deleted the app off my phone for mental health reasons. It wasn't like negatively affecting me, but I just couldn't handle one more thing that I had to do. Like, I'm not a huge fan of getting on those things and like you just scroll and like I feel like I'm wasting so much time. I can't handle it. And I love hearing from you guys, but I just had to delete the phone off my app. I had to delete the app off my phone for I mean, not because of any of y'all's messages or anything, just because it was like an extra thing and it was like the last straw of like things on my plate that I needed to step back from for a little bit. And I am gonna get back on at least my GEO Girl Instagram. I don't care about my personal Instagram account. I never got on that before anyway. But I'm gonna try and get back to my GEO Girl one and post again. Eventually, I'm just at the moment, maybe until I'm done writing my dissertation, just keep it off my phone. I don't know. I'm playing it by ear, but my point with this bullet point here is that I'm sorry if you've not heard back from me because you've contacted me on one of those platforms. Please, I will respond or try my best to respond if you contact me on YouTube through comments or through my email, which my email is listed in the About page of my YouTube channel, and it's rachelfphillips@aol.com. You can contact me there. I will most likely see it and respond. There is a small chance that it'll like go to junk or something because I've never got an email from your address, but just do it again. I'll eventually see it. I try to check my spam folder. So anyway, yeah, don't contact me on any of those other things for the time being. When I get back on Instagram, I will let you guys know and hopefully get back to as many people as I can who have messaged me on there. Anyway, so the last point I want to make is just discussing a little bit about the future of the GEO Girl channel in general. So I am planning to continue to post Earth history content to the best of my ability throughout the lifetime of my channel because that is probably my major passion. I mean, how cool does it get to talk about what's happened in Earth's past? And we're learning new things all the time. And that's what I study, by the way. Did I mention what I study? I don't think I did. I think I just said I'm a PhD student. Oh my God. Well, I should have mentioned that. I study specifically for my PhD research, I study marine biogeochemistry, which is just a fancy way of saying that I look at biogeochemical signatures or biochemical signatures in the rock record, which can tell us a lot about Earth's past. I specifically look at trace metal signatures in the rock record and how they're preserved in the rocks and what that can tell us about Earth's past. And so I do a lot of lab experiments where I test trace metal behavior in solution and how it becomes precipitated and incorporated into precipitates or sediment, which would be the case for natural environments, and that can tell us a lot about what those potential signatures, if we find them in the rock record, can tell us about ancient ocean chemistry, ancient atmospheric chemistry, when those rocks formed and all of that. So that's what I study. That's my passion. I love talking about Earth's past. That will always be in my video topics for the foreseeable future. And I will also hopefully always be talking about geobiology. I have a geomicrobiology or geobiology playlist right now on my channel, so anything like that. I will also always talk about astrobiology and planetary geology. That is another huge passion of mine, is how, when, where, and what we might find in terms of life on other worlds. And I love talking about that. It has a ton to do with geology, and people don't think geologists have anything to do with astro anything or planetary science at all, which is crazy. I mean, that's like the majority of what it is. These are big rocks in space. So I just love talking about that and getting a little bit more specific than a lot of the mainstream channels do. I will also talk about paleontology, paleobiology, geochemistry is a big one I'm going to try and focus on for the future videos on my channel. Mineral formation, isotope geochemistry, how we can use the isotopes in rocks, isotope signatures to tell us about Earth's past, what they might tell us, what isotopes have told us so far, isotope excursions, and what isotope excursions tell us about climate change in the past, what they might tell us about climate change in the future and the present. all of these things with isotopes. Isotopes are great. I have a lot of isotope videos on my channel right now, but there's so much more to cover. And there's a lot of other things in geochemistry, not just isotopes, that I'll talk about. Another big geochem topic I'll go over is carbonate petrology. That's something I've always wanted to cover on my channel and just haven't got around to starting the playlist. I'm talking really fast. I'm really sorry for that. You guys know I get talking really fast on my channel sometimes, and I'm sorry. Oh, and also petrology. I'll try and continue igneous and metamorphic petrology, as well as sedimentology and stratigraphy to the best that I can. Again, I'm kind of at the end of my rope with my sedimentology videos at the moment based on the resources I have available to me at the moment. But I do plan to make many more of those videos in the future. Oh, one thing, guys, that I get a lot of comments about this, and I know you geophysicists and structural geologists out there are wanting me to cover this, and maybe in the future, like years from now, I'll be able to, but at the moment, I suck at geophysics and structural geology. So I'm really sorry, but not even a good resource can help me at the moment. I mean, okay, look, I don't suck at them, but I don't have any good geophysics resources at the moment, and I do have a good structural geology resource at the moment, but it's really so far out of my expertise that I'd have to devote so much time to it to learn it well enough to teach it that I cannot devote that time that I would want to make good videos about it at the moment. But I do plan, I sort of kind of plan to eventually maybe cover that. But yes, I'm very sorry if you're out there and you want me to cover those things. Again, I am not qualified to talk. You guys don't want to see a video that I can make right now on structural or geophysics, so I'm sorry. Oh, and the last thing I forgot to mention is I do eventually plan to make a kind of like regional geology video or geology of different regions playlist, because right now I have this Earth history playlist where I went through Earth history period by period basically, but I kind of want to do that by region rather than the time scale, because I've talked about in like 4 of my different Earth history videos the Appalachian Mountains and how the orogenic or mountain building events that formed those. But that wasn't in one video because it was in like 4 different periods throughout Earth history that those things happened. So what I'd like to do is go back and cover all those things in like one video each. So like the Appalachians, the whole like Earth history time scale that was required to build those, and then that would be a video, and then like another, Grand Canyon or something, the popular places, geologic places on Earth. And obviously not just in the US, like everywhere. So that would be a good playlist to do. I just, again, don't have the resources yet to do so and don't have the expertise to do so based on just my brain. So I'm sorry if that was a really rambly video. It seemed like it to me. I was so organized going into it. See, this is what happens when I don't have a PowerPoint to stare at. I mean, I do have one, but like it's not like slide by slide and I'm not going through it in the video like I normally do. This is why you guys do not want me to go without a PowerPoint. I'm a lecturer by heart, I guess, a PowerPoint lecturer. But hopefully someday I'll get better at talking without one. In any case, I'm, again, starting to ramble, so I'm gonna just say that that's a wrap on that video, and I hope that clarifies a few things for you guys and also updates my previously outdated channel introduction video, although it was less like a channel introduction and more like a addressing comments video and explaining why I never respond on Instagram. So yeah, I hope it cleared things up for you guys, and I hope that you keep watching my channel in spite of this rambly weird video that I've just made. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and for being fans of my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're old here, thank you guys so much for being so supportive throughout my entire journey. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.